This is Lab 18, Example 7. We have the quadratic equation x squared minus 8x plus 20 is equal to 0. We first want to use the discriminant to determine the type of solution that this will give, and then we want to find those solutions and write them in simplest form. So our discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. It's derived from our quadratic formula. It's the inside of our square root. If our discriminant is greater than 0, we have 2 real roots. If our discriminant is equal to 0, we have 1 real root. And if our discriminant is less than 0, if it's negative, we have 2 imaginary roots. And we'll be dealing with I is equal to square root of -1 if that's the case. So, jumping straight in, finding out what our d is, our discriminant. So d is equal to b squared minus 4ac. Our b is -8, so this is the same thing as -8 squared minus 4 times a, which is 1, times our c, which is 20. So if you plug this into a calculator, you find that this is -16. -16 is less than 0. So going back to our page here, if our discriminant is less than 0, we have 2 imaginary roots. So we know that we'll be dealing with I is equal to square root of -1. So we have 2 imaginary roots. So now that we know that, let's find out what our imaginary roots are. And we're going to find what our roots are the same way as we found our real roots, which is using the quadratic formula. So x equals -b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. So our b is -8. Having a negative of a -8 is going to give us +8 plus minus the square root of essentially b squared minus 4ac, which is our discriminant up here. So it's the same thing as -8 squared minus 4 times 1 times 20 divided by 2 times a, which is 1. So we know that this is just what our discriminant is inside the square root, which is -16. So I'm going to substitute that in there. -16 divided by 2 times 1 is just 2. So now let's rewrite this square root using the knowledge that I is equal to, I'll write it up here, I is equal to the square root of -1. So we're going to rewrite this 8 plus minus the square root of -1 times 16 divided by 2, which is the same thing as 8 plus minus the square root of -1 times the square root of 16 divided by 2. If everything inside of a square root is being multiplied, we can split up the square root like this. So we know the square root of -1 is I, and the square root of 16 is 4. So we can rewrite this as 8 plus minus 4i divided by 2. And now that we have that, we can now find out what our solutions are. I'm going to split this up using the plus minus, and then also split up this entire thing into 2 fractions respectively. So using the plus one first, we have 8 over 2 plus 4i divided by 2, and we have the solution 8 over 2 minus 4i over 2. And simplifying these fractions, 8 divided by 2 is 4, and then 4i divided by 2 is 2i. And 8 over 2 is 4, and then -4i over 2 is -2i. So these are our 2 imaginary roots.